Welcome, everybody, back to the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series, brought to you by Harpoon Design Season 14. This is round number 2 here, and I don't know, I've been having some issues with ATVO not wanting it to update after exporting, so we're going to go ahead and get that in here. But we are at Kansas here tonight, folks, for round number 2, the top 16 of the chase. Myself, Joshua Medlock, and Will Roberts up here in the booth. Will, glad to have you up here, man. You may be doing a whole lot of talking tonight. A little tired, and medicine's keeping me a little loopy, but we'll get it. We'll get it together, buddy. So glad to have you as always, man. But Kansas here tonight. This track, can be tough at times. Got a couple of lanes they can choose from, but going into tonight, I mentioned it last week. Will, I think that top side is going to be probably later on in the run that dominant line.
Yes, indeed. Normally, like you said, the top lane here, the high lane, some call it the Larson line, or just that wall line, just right up against the wall, inches away from touching it. Sometimes you can get disaster. It can kind of just suck you in because of how really no air getting to the side of the car, plus just being up against the wall, be very tricky. But Kansas, very predominantly, you can race just about any lane here, from the bottom all the way to the top, middle, anywhere. And that's what makes this track very, very much, so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And, you almost cannot find a good racing line here because they're all great. Like it's scheduled tonight, 225 miles. It is, I believe, to be a really great, interesting race tonight. Hopefully a lot of good racing. Kansas, I do believe, always puts in store always great racing. So can't wait to see if we can get some good long green flag running like we normally get to see here in the SRU series. So
yeah, and I think we will. I think we'll see some long green flag runs, maybe even a few green flag pit stops. And you did the honors earlier of getting that fuel window. We'll talk about it here in just a second. We've got an air temp of 65, a track temp of 82, 150 laps, 225 miles. Stage here tonight. Now, it's going to put it pretty close, as you can see here. Now, they do get 4 sets of tires, but the stage, white flag at 45, checkered at 46. That fuel window is about 40 to 45 laps. I'll give or take, plus a couple of laps or minus a couple of laps. Very, very close on that fuel window. Now, you take a chance and, maybe cut that in half and go through 23, 25 laps? Or do you just kind of hold back, save about 2 laps, or try to, and make a punch toward the stage and hope that there is not a caution? Real quick, your take on that.
I do believe we might see some drivers run at about maybe 75%, not all the way to 100% max in the opening stage here. We could see a couple peel off and make a kind of, like you said, split the stage in half. If not, we might see all the drivers do that because it would be cutting it super close, like we talked about. That 40 to 45 lap range. Some drivers could just hang back and attempt to make it all the way, but then you might run out of gas on that cool down lap for that stage in. So lots of possibilities here, Joshua.
Oh, yeah, definitely so. We'll, of course, keep an eye on it. We'll see who comes down and who doesn't, but that is, the fuel window here tonight. Well, the pit road speed is 45 miles an hour with a pace speed of 65. Taking a look at our point standings with the top 16 here tonight. Very close indeed. Mark Whitley up at the top at 30-61 with his win last week opening up at the chase. He is up a spot. Kyle Heath into second at 30-55, only 6 points behind Mark. Brandon Sheets up a spot into third at 30-42, 19 behind the leader and 13 behind Kyle. We do have a tie between Robbie Darnell and up 5 spots into fifth, Chris Paff at 30-25. 36 behind the leader and 17 behind Sheets. Robbie Stewart up 7 spots into 6th at 30-24, 37 behind the leader and 1 behind Path and Darnell. Jeff Gilmore up 8 spots into 7th at 30-23, 38 behind the leader and 1 behind Stewart. And Keith Hurlbut in 6th, or in 8th, up 6 spots at 30-20, 41 behind the leader and 3 behind Gilmore. Jim Coleman-Spurger up 7 spots into 9th at 30-19, 42 behind the leader and 1 behind Hurlbut. Jason Adams up a spot, cracking the top 10 in 10th at 30-16. 45 behind the leader and 3 behind Coleman-Spurger. Philip Bridgman down a spot into 11 at 30-14. 47 behind the leader and 2 behind Adams. Gary Slapinski, nice to see Gary back out here tonight. He is down 10 spots into 12th at 3,009, 52 points behind the leader and 5 behind Bridgman. Hunter Hayward down 7 spots into 13th at 2,997. 64 points behind the leader and 12 behind Slapinski. Clifton Ashley down 7 as well to 14th at 29.95, 66 behind the leader and 2 behind Hayward. Kevin Roy down 7 as well and 15th at 29.94, 67 points behind the leader and 1 behind Clifton. And Zach Deutscher down 5 in that 16th spot at 29.90, 71 points behind the leader and 4 behind Kevin Roy. Of course, only after tonight it will be 8 races left to determine who that champion is, but we've got about a minute left here in practice. We're going to step aside here and play the national anthem provided by Madison Rising. So hang tight, folks. Qualifying will be underway here at Kansas when we come back.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket train, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the frame, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. This land of the brave. The
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're watching MaxspeedTV.
Alrighty, folks, so we are back. About 2 minutes left here in qualified. Mark Willie up at the top spot by only 25 thousandths of a second ahead of Kyle Heath. Now, Zach Deutscher is only 84 thousandths behind Kyle Heath. He is about a tenth of a second. Well, Chris Paff just took over that third place spot, 75 thousandths of a second behind Kyle, and right at a tenth of a second behind, well, as soon as I say that, Michael DeWalt decides that he's going to put it 7 thousandths of a second behind Kyle and 32 thousandths of a second behind the leader of Mark Whitley. So even regardless of how you look at it here, Will, still very, very close between the drivers out here in qualifying. Of course, the race is going to be totally different. You know, these guys are going to, be in some draft here tonight. Of course, aero push, the wall may come into a factor out here tonight as well. I do see we've got Rudy Cummings, Brendan Kennedy out there, Kyle Heath, Robbie Darnell. Unfortunately, not making it out here tonight. Thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family out there, Robbie. Steve Tucker out there in chat here tonight. So great group of fans out there. I'm sure Tara's out there somewhere here tonight rooting on Chris. And, if we hear something before we know something, it'll probably come from Tara. But it looks like we're not going to have a whole lot of qualifiers out here tonight, but then looks like, man, several drivers not qualifying. We'll go ahead and grab Mark Whitley here. It looks like he is going to come away with the pole here this evening. Mark Whitley, buddy, coming away with the pole out here tonight at Kansas for round number 2. Hopefully you can rebound after last week's opener, man. Kansas, it's a unique track, man. What do you got to do out here tonight?
Figure out some way not to kill that right front. That's been like the whole issue in practice, is that right front. It's just, it's so tight. You got to figure out a way to not abuse it and be good on the long run. So we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can lead the pace and just run our own race and hopefully save that right front in the process.
Oh, yeah, and, real quickly, I want to mention, very close on fuel per se when it comes to the stage and the fuel run. Do you have a game plan in the books? You don't have to say your game plan. Do you have a game plan?
No, I just have to figure it out as I go, honestly. I haven't even looked at fuel.
All righty. Well, Mark, good luck down there, buddy. Congratulations on the pole for round number 2 of the top 16, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, Will, let's go ahead and get them on the grid out here tonight. We've already talked to our pole sitters, so guess we'll go ahead and get the qual times off here and get them on the grid out here tonight. And I don't know why that keeps doing that, but here we go. Mark Whitley in the MaxspeedTV starting grid. Mark Whitley with a 37.36. That is going to be good enough for the top spot. Our last week's winner, actually trying to go for 2 in a row, is going to be Kyle Heath in that Mima Redesigns 13, starting on the outside of Mark Whitley. Michael DeWalt in third. Austin Slayers, I call him Slayers out there. He is going to be starting 4th. Chris Paff 5th. Zach Deutscher in 6th. Philip Bridgman 7th. Greg Wood in 8th. Gary Slapinski 9th. And Jeff Gilmore rounding out the top 10. Mark Emery didn't have a good outcome last week. Let's hope that number 4 has a great outcome here tonight. He will roll off 11th here tonight. Now, Larry Blair in 12th. Brandon Sheets 13th. Keith Hurlbutt 14th. Brandon Hartwell 15th. David Cassidy 16th. Kevin Roy 17th. Jim Coleman Spurger in 18th. Terry DeGay 19th. And Paul Buzz Cohen in 20th. Jason Adams 21st. Mark Gomez Kashik there in 22nd. Christopher Campbell 23rd. Robbie Stewart in 24th. And it does look like 2 drivers did not grid, and that would be Paul Buzz Cohen, and Robbie Stewart. So it looks like 22 drivers out here to start things off. Still not too bad, Will.
Not too bad at all. And also to just allude back to the qualifying. Very tight knit qualifying group. I know, like you said, qualifying very different from the race that we will be seeing, but just how on top of one another everybody was in qualifying. Very impressive to see. Great to see. Just the strength of field, I guess you could say, of tonight's race.
Oh yeah, very.
I was going to say, I think Zach sent me a message, said ask you to reset your trading paints, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm actually going to do that now. Pace car is rolling off. We'll get them going here. Everybody will be updated on their paints here momentarily. But here we go, folks. Green is out. Boogity, 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 folks. We're racing here tonight at Kansas.
Great start going into turns 1 and 2. Kyle Heath going to file in line behind. Oh,
that would be the number 5 of Philip Bridgman.
These cars can get a bit twitchy, especially just in the dirty air or by themselves here at Kansas. They kind of sometimes seem, these next Gen 7 cars, they can almost have a mind of their own just about anywhere. So got to be careful. We've talked about it before in the past, how much wheel you want to keep putting in it, even exiting the corner.
It's like a good battle between Zach Deuscher and the 78 of Gary Slapieski here. Of course, the first couple of laps, they got to get heat built up in these tires here as we're seeing the paint start to update. Michael DeWalt, instead of that just basic paint, we now got him in the Budweiser 8. Kyle Heath is going to, it looks like, make the pass over the 77 of Mark Whitley, starting to fall back a little bit. Now it looks like Michael DeWalt was trying to get around him. And Mark Whitley, I guess he's trying to
searching.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what line he wants to be in. But Kyle Heath is going to lead his first lap here tonight up at the front. So 2 drivers got the bonus points early on here tonight. We'll see what happens. Austin Slayers, he slayed his way all the way up from P4 to P2 in the Armor All 43. So he is working his way up, going back a little bit further. Philip Bridgman, Greg Wood, Jeff Gilmore, kind of at the tail end back here in that 10th spot. Right now, everybody doing what they need to do. Hey, man, they're just bunched up here.
Yeah, we got about 6 cars just side by side up here, just battling for a top 5 position. And Austin taking that 43 to the point. He's trying to get around on the high side of Kyle Heath and the 13 machine as this battle ensues for about 4th, 5th on back.
And Austin just got his first lap led.
So 3 different leaders in the first 6 laps of this race, Joshua. So could just be a back and forth between the whole field tonight about who's going to be the race leader. Great to see early on. All this passing, all this battling, all this, the 3 different leaders so far. So that's almost good omens intel. So.
Oh, 67 of Greg Wood almost wooded the car. Got really close to the wall, and we talked about that early on. That wall, if it grabs a hold of you, it is not going to let go. And he got close to it. He might have hit it, might have scraped it. I don't think he didn't plow right into it. If he did, it wouldn't have let go.
Oh no, and sometimes whenever it lets go, it almost acts like a ricocheted bullet or like just hopping back out of a sponge, perhaps. So got to be careful with these safer barrier walls. They can kind of do that to you, but we will see more than likely a lot more close calls with the wall tonight. So I think we've seen a couple of more so far in the early goings here. 8 laps into the race now, and kind of some drivers kind of just getting separation, but still good. I would say all the way from first. What is that? A top 10, or if not 12 drivers, still all. What is that? About 2, maybe 3 seconds apart from one another. Then a little bit further in the back, you have some drivers not really applying too much pressure. Those drivers probably more than likely just taking it easy early on in this opening part of the race, this first stage of the race. So, like we talked about, you're going to have some drivers probably more than likely try to save that lap or so to get it to the stage finish. Some of these drivers up here just battling hard,
Yeah.
racing,
I've been watching
and
I've been watching a few of them, you know, throughout the field here, and
Gary made his way to second there.
yeah, Gary got around Kyle. Then we had back in toward around Brandon Sheets. With Brandon is still under fire here. Mark Whitley right up ahead of him. Brandon Hartwell, Jeff Gilmore right there at the tail end. Kevin Roy's not too far back. David Cassidy, Keith Hurlbutt. So you've got a kind of a log jam from about Mark Whitley on back to Keith Hurlbutt here, and they're still battling it up right here. It looks like the 2 of Brandon Sheets giving the 77 all he can handle right now. Mark on the high side, Brandon on the low side, down into turn number 1. Still think that high side, though, is going to be later on the preferred line. Seeing a quick battle up here going on. Kyle Heath, Zach Neuscher, and Philip Bridgman. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. So we do got several battles going on the track. Just trying to keep up with them is easier said than done sometimes.
One of 2 things going on with Mark Whitley at the moment. Our pole sitter probably can't quite get the car to his liking, can't find the proper lane to be in, to find that speed that he found in practice and qualifying, that he was just using to make time up there, or, like we talked about, trying to make it to that stage finish.
Yes.
So that could be another reason why he has backed it up, kind of got, if you want to say, kind of swallowed up by the rest of the field. He's back here just brawling with everybody else for a little bit, which...
Oh, Kyle Heath, Philip Bridgman. We kind of seen Philip's speed go down, and then seen Kyle. When I clicked on Philip, he kind of was going a little bit sideways there, but everybody held on to it. That so no harm, no foul.
It looks like possibly the air could have got taken off the nose of Philip's car coming out of turn 2 and just kind of kicked sideways. They were him, Neuscher, and Heath. They were just out there really close, battling for that position, 3rd position. So now trying to regather that car, which it didn't take him that long to gather it back up. Now DeWalt back into the fold. So
yep. DeWalt back there in that 5th spot. Now we got
looks like Gary's. Yes, Gary taking a battle for the lead down low on Austin in the 43. Oh, he's going to walk it up the track.
Oh, good save by the both of them. Gary watched up,
indeed.
And I think Gary realized what was happening, and they both backed out of it. He let Austin have it, and, you know, I think if Gary would, and then Austin pops the wall there. However, Austin is going to lead that lap, but here comes Gary back in. I think Gary's going to be a little bit more careful now that knowing that car can wash up that quickly. And
he also changed his lane that lap as well.
That was a very, very close call between them two. A lot of close calls here early on.
Well, great car control from Gary in that 78 machine, so if it wouldn't have been for that, he probably would have looped it around. We would have seen probably our first caution of the evening, but like we said, great save, great car control.
And we do not want to see a caution. Of course, folks, if we do get a caution, we will have the yellow. And if you hear this, well, then we got an uh-oh. So, yeah, a little bit, some battling going on there. And Jeff Gilmore, Mark Emery. Mark Emery. Mark needs some better luck tonight than he had last week. I'll tell you that he did not have the
I agree
best
with
of
that for
luck
sure.
last week, man. Lap 4, lap 5 of the race, just unfortunate for him. I think he's gonna try to take it as easy as he can. He's running about where he started here tonight, so he's not really moving or gaining right now. But hey, it's still early on. We'll we'll let Mark do Mark things out here, and he's in a pickle here though. Brandon Hartwell, man, a battle for the lead again too. Austin Slayers and Gary Slapinski. Gary still has not led a lap yet. He is fighting Austin here.
Yeah, it's going way back downstairs yet again in 1 and 2. Try to see if it'll work this time. It looks like it's going to. Well,
nope.
Not quite. Still can't get a good enough run to get the pass successfully completed. Now Austin going to the middle of 3 and 4, trying to not give any type of tow or draft to Gary in that 78. As these guys are racing, though, that is pulling some of those drivers, like Zach in that 21, closer to them. So,
yeah, we are.
If they
we are watching
go ahead, Josh.
yeah, we are watching it. They are getting ever so closer, man. Oh, it's the two of Brandon Sheets trying to get around Philip Bridgman here. Mark Emery, Mark Whitley, they're doing some battling. We got a battle of the marks here. Well, there's 2 of 3. Where's the other one? No, way back here in 22nd. Gomez. We got 3 marks out here. So, Mark's going to win it. One of the marks
Gary
is going to
got
win
by
it.
the 43, Joshua.
Yeah, but can he hold it?
And Zach is taking the outside lane around the 43, and Michael DeWalt is up here as well. So 4-car battle for the lead. Kyle Heath also.
And Gary is going to lead his first lap here tonight. Lap 23. Gary's been out for now a couple of weeks, so nice to see Gary back out here racing with the guys.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 weeks,
Yeah,
I think.
I think about a month. Yeah, not sure exactly. None of my business, but, nice to see him back out here.
Right.
Michael DeWalt.
Oh, trying to do a slide job, not clear, though.
Nope.
Like we said, they keep racing side by side, or they get side by side with one another. That's going to pull others up closer to them, a little bit further back. Kevin Roy getting around Philip Bridgman. Mark Embry now trying to do the same.
Yeah. Got some great. Oh, man. Probably a little bit bigger of a gap there than that camera angle can show. And Emery is going to get around Philip. So Mark up to 13th. Up to 13th. Still way early in the race.
Yeah, it's only 25 laps into this 150 lap event, so not even a quarter into the race.
And it looks like mostly single file now. Everybody, well, say that. Get back here to Brandon Sheets and Mark Whitley. This is a battle here for 9th. Brandon Hartwell is right behind them. Oh, we could have
it seems like. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We could have a battle of the Brandons between Brandon Sheets and Brandon Hartwell.
Oh, yes, most definitely. It looks like they are going at it at the moment. I was going to say, I think Mark perhaps might have saved enough gas and might be charging back up towards the front at the moment. So have to keep a check on Mark, see how much further he can get back up towards the front before lap 45, but
going back here
a little bit further back here.
Yep, Jason Adams, Jim Coleman, Spurger. This is back here at around the 17th, 18th spot. Still got to keep an eye on these guys back here, because if something happens up toward the front, these guys can definitely make a move. And especially, if something happens, Will, and there's not a caution, then they just keep on racing and they can pick up, depending on how many drivers are involved, 2, 3, 4 spots. So, just because they're back here toward the back right now, That does not mean anything.
Oh, it certainly does not. Like you said, sometimes in iRacing, the only on the racing surface for the most part. If a car crashes, iRacing likes to throw the cautions. If you, excuse me, if you get swooped down below the white or yellow lines at most tracks, it won't necessarily call a caution because you're off the racing surface. So, like you talked about, the race will stay green flag
Yes.
condition, and you will pick up, like you said, at least 2 or 3 spots, just depending on who gets involved in the crash or the spin. So that is definitely one to keep an eye out for sure. As now Austin in the 43 kind of dropping back a little bit from the short run lived speed he had after leading uh, a few laps there.
I wonder if some of these
Jeff
guys
Gilmore.
are setting up for short runs, long run speeds. You know, whoa! Jeff Gilmore and Greg Wood had a moment there. I think Jeff got the rough end of the stick on that one. He did lose one position to Greg Wood, but that could have been a lot uglier than what it was. They both kind of just held on to it, and I think they're all right.
Yeah, I think Greg just wanted to arc it in to the corner a bit wider, and just Jeff was still out to his outside. So, just close racing, man. That close, hard racing sometimes that'll happen every now and again. And some drivers just, I'm kind of one in particular as well. Like I never really, yeah, I like racing with you, but hey, whenever you start touching me, hey now. So Jeff looks like he's just going to kind of, all right, just get back in line, recover from the slight contact if there was any made, just get refocused. Greg Wood, after that near encounter, just basically running away or trying to get away. So, like you talked about, some drivers just either will set the car up for the short run speed, try to have it later in the run, longer run speed, but it's also down to the driver as well to be consistent or maintain that speed to hopefully have it later in the run, that long run capability speed. So already halfway through a run here, 33 laps into the race in the first stage as well. And some of these cars just could be a little bit ill handling later into the runs. And I think we're seeing that with a couple of drivers here. So got to be careful, at least when the fuel burns off, how much tire life you still have that you're capable of performing with. And about the top 5, throw a blanket over the top 5 that are up here. Gary, Michael Dewalt, Zach Deuscher, Chris Praff, and Kyle Heath. Man, they're still up here giving it all they have in the first stage. Still, nobody. I don't think none of those guys really saved anything, to be honest, in this opening stanza.
Well, everybody is still out here. Nobody has pitted. Well, one driver has. Now, unfortunately, he is 13 laps down. He's only been out here at about 19 laps. That is Robbie Stewart. Robbie not having the race he wanted out here tonight early on. But the question is, I still wonder if they're going to even be able to make it. And that's going to put them close, I think, on fuel. They might be able to save 2 laps.
We're kind of just nail biting, sitting on the edge of our seat, just kind of waiting to see if they are going to be able to make it to that lap 45, 46 stage break mark. So just it's almost a guessing game at this point. Who our friendly crew chief Brantley, he said they will be close, but his car should definitely make it, or at least his 2 cars.
Whoa, yeah, one of his 2 cars at least. We know he's got 2 of them out here. Gary Slapinski there, and Mark Whitley right here in the 6th position. He is right up ahead of Greg Wood here. So Greg is putting some pressure there on that Harpoon Design 77. And Gary Slapinski in the Harpoon Design 78 has got some company. And Michael DeWalt here in that Budweiser 8 machine. Kyle Heath making his way back up into that third spot, trying to get around Zach Deuscher. And he has completed the pass. Now coming out of turn number 2, is he going to be able to slide up in front of him? Yep, and he'll do just that. So lap 38. We are at the edge of our seats here trying to find out if they will indeed make it. Lap 39. Didn't I just say lap 38? That's how quick they get around the track. At about 31 seconds, almost 32 seconds. So we can tell the fall off from the start of the race to about almost 40 laps in. It looks like about a 2-second drop off.
Well, Gary's last lap, that is a good second and, well, 1.3 seconds for Gary. And, yeah, about almost 2 seconds.
Watching Kyle Heath here. Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm watching Kyle. Battling for P2.
Sometimes, just depending on the track, these low profile sidewall tires, I'll get that out eventually. Just about every racing series around the world has eventually gone to low profile, no sidewall tires. And really, no sidewall means that you don't necessarily have an inner liner, basically kind of like a safe, like a net safe too. If you do have a small leak or a puncture, you know, it's still going to get you back to pit road. Here, with these next gen cars, very difficult in the real world, that is, to get back to the pits.
Kyle Heath back up front has led his third lap.
Yes, indeed.
He has not completed it over Gary, but he is right there. Lap 42. 3 more laps. We will be at the white flag.
I want to say that is our 6th different lead change, I think.
We can take a look at it. 4 lead changes so far. And I don't know how many different leaders, probably just maybe a handful. But here we go, lap 43. Kyle has got the top side. We'll see if Gary is going to be able to get back around him. Well, who's burned their stuff up more? Kyle, Gary, no, Michael, and Chris. Not too far back. Zach and Mark right there. The top 6 right there together.
Mark really made his way back into the fold. He is now back, taking that bottom lane, doing a slide job on Zach in the 21. Okay, so he's going to have 2 laps, I believe 2, right? 2 to go here in the stage.
Well, we're on lap 44, so the next time by will be the white flag, and then we'll go caution for the stage. Jim Coleman'sberger down pit road.
Kyle Heath out to about a half a second lead there.
Yes.
As they get racy behind him, Chris Pratt going to the inside of Gary. That was super close.
White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go for Kyle Heath in the stage. Can he hold on to it from Chris, Gary, Mark, and Michael? Can't rule out Michael DeWalt here either. All Kyle has got to do is get into 3 and out of 4 safely and no mistakes. And out of turn number 4, there's not going to be enough track. Kyle Heath is going to grab the stage here tonight. Caution is in the air. There we go.
I was going to say Chris Pratt held off Mark Whitley for that second place. Mark was charging late in that stage, and just impressive to see Mark not really I don't want to say as far as he was back from the leaders, but man, as they got to racing, he was able to charge back at them and came back to get third there.
All right. Well, Kyle Heath, our stage winner. Of course, stages are done after this. They only do one stage. And, of course, that is definitely going to help Kyle Heath. Mark Whitley did finish in third. So, of course, we got a whole lot of racing left to do out here tonight. And, of course, in through the, well, after tonight, the 8 races in the top 16. So, still anybody's race and anybody's championship. We'll get Kyle up here in just a moment for his stage interview. We'll let these guys come down pit road. I don't think anybody will stay out. I don't think you make such a bonehead move.
Yeah, that really the only person possibly staying out might be Jim, but Jim should get the wave around, so he would still probably come back in pit top off.
And that's what I would do. Is you know, get the wave around, get your lap back. I know you just pitted, but then come in again, start in the back, and then work your way back up through the field if you can. Which I know Jim can do it. Just you know, he'd be able to gain my spot. All he would have to do is just give me a cup of coffee. I'd be fine with it.
Yes, that fabulous Folgers. Like modernized take on the old Folgers paint scheme.
Yep.
Love to see it.
All right. Well, off of pit road first is going to be our stage winner, Kyle Heath. Let's go ahead and get Kyle down here real quickly and talk to him here in the Memory Designs 13. Kyle Heath, buddy, got a copy?
I sure do. Why are you interviewing me?
Stage winner, man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot what that felt like.
Well, stage winner out here tonight, buddy, picking up those bonus points. A lot of bonus points here coming to you. Stage winner, you know, leading some laps out here tonight, so you got those bonus points coming to you. Still a long way to go here in the race, but it looked like it felt pretty good out there here in the first 45 laps, man. Talk about it. How did you feel? Did it get any looser? Did it stay tight? What'd you feel out there, bud?
Well, at the beginning of the run, it felt really tight. Middle of the run, I felt like I was losing way too much speed, but I just, you know, just kept my goal, just do what I was going to do, and then it started feeling good to me. It felt a hell of a lot better and a hell of a lot better.
So as the run went on, it really came to you.
Oh, yeah. And I was getting kind of nervous, too, because I didn't have much fuel left before that stage.
Oh, well, good thing the stage ended when it did, huh?
Yeah, no doubt.
All righty. Well, we got a long way to go out here tonight, about 100 or so laps left, bud. So, you know, still anything's, you know, can transpire right here. Looks like you're real fast out there. You know, keep it going. We know you got the car in the long run. We know you got the long run speed already. We can just see it. So, you know, good luck out there, Kyle. Congratulations on the stage win out here tonight, buddy, and hopefully you can go 2 for 2 in the round of 16.
Yes, sir.
Yep, good luck, bud. All right, well, that is Kyle Heath here in that top spot. Of course, he's going to be starting up at the top here as he was the first one off of pit road, followed by... Well, as soon as it'll bring it up there, Chris Paff, Michael DeWalt, Zach Neuscher, Greg Wood, Jason Adams, Kevin Roy, Brandon Sheets, Mark Whitley. And it looks like I've got Larry Blair in that 10th spot. That is our top 10 off of pit road. Keith Hurlbutt, Christopher Campbell, Philip Bridgman, Mark Emery, Mark Koshik, Austin Slayers. Gary Slapinski is back down pit road here, so that's going to put Jim Coleman-Sperger into that 18th spot. Jeff Gilmore is a lap down in 20th. David Cassidy a lap down in 21st. Harry DeGay 3 laps down. He is coming out of his pit box here. And Robbie Stewart is out here on the track in that 23rd spot, 13 laps down. So even though these guys are laps down, Will, you know, I still wouldn't count anybody out, especially Jeff David or Terry. Robbie Stewart's got some work cut out for him. I mean, he needs, see, 13, 40, 50, see, at least 17 cautions to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't see those 17 cautions. But it looks like we might see, if it goes green from here, we might see at least 2 or more green flag scheduled pit stops. So.
Yep, and into the Geico start zone here, and Kyle Heath is out. We are back underway here tonight for the Sim Racing Unleashed Harpoon Design Season 14, Round 2 of the Top 16 Cup Series. In the chase here at Kansas Motor Speedway, presented to you all by MaxspeedTV as these guys get going again. And we was asked in the chat here from Tara to see the point standings here tonight again. So we'll go ahead and flash those up here. Now this is just the top 16, Tara, those in the chase. So these guys are the guys that are battling for the championship. So that is the way it's stacked up coming in to tonight. All right, well, back at it here. Tara, if you want to pause it, look at that real quickly, you can. We've got some action to call. We've got some side-by-side going on here all the way through the field. Kevin Roy, Jason Adams, Whitley, Sheets, Bridgman. Of course, new tires, Will. They're going to take them a few laps to warm these things up again.
Yes, at least about 5 to 6 laps maybe to get it up to optimal temperature here. Maybe a little bit more, depending, but they are already back at it now. Greg Wood slicing and dicing. He's jumped up a couple of spots, taking another position, trying to take it away from Zach Deuscher in the 21. Jason Adams underneath Kevin Roy. Kevin Roy trying to hold it tight up on the high side. And Mark Whitley just kind of sitting back, watching this unfold in front of him, trying to decide well, where to go.
And it looks like Chris Paff here trying to figure out a way to get around that Mean Marie Designs 13. I think that Gatorade 22 just buying his time right now. He's pushing up there to that 13, but not pressing the issue. He's just kind of staying there, trying to hold his line. Here is the 67 of Greg Wood, Michael Dewalk, Zach Deuscher could have a possible 3 wide action. Looks like they possibility could go 3 wide even back here too. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that around Brandon Sheets, Keith Harrellbutt, Larry Blair, Brandon Sheets even. So we'll keep an eye on it. Looks like Jim Coleman'sberger trying to make his way back up toward the front here. He is up a couple of spots already. So
yeah, I kind of think Gary came back in, topped off like we alluded to during the caution period. And, oh, look at that. Chris Praff taking that 22 to the lead, or trying to at least
he did.
The outside of Kyle Heath.
He got the lap. He stole it away from Kyle.
And look at that. Greg Wood as well. Hard charger Greg Wood up here trying to, I don't know if he's trying to help Chris, but he is up there behind Chris, giving him a little bit of aero help. Zach Deuscher also up on that high side. Michael Dewalk down low. Yeah, that was a close one as well. Another close call out of turn 4. About the top, I believe top 10 right here. All still within at least 2.5 seconds, I do believe. So.
Something happened to Gary.
Oh yes, he is 7 laps down, and that is from the restart, at least, being that many laps down. Not too sure what happened there, so.
I don't know if we can get an input from Brantley out there. Dale Young out there rooting on Gary, and I don't know what happened to Gary there, Darryl. So, unfortunate circumstances for the 78 out here tonight.
Yeah, he was out here leading some laps. Took one of our leaders.
Oh, he is on pit road here. So he's not out of the out of the race lobby.
Greg Wood
is sitting on pit road. Yeah, Greg Wood up at the top here.
So this race ever changing with the list of characters we have here this evening. Greg Wood now leading this race up front. Look at Kevin Roy. Kevin Roy trying to get position on the 8. Can't quite get there at the moment. That's going to bring Jason a little bit further back to Kevin. Now Zach Deuscher going on the attack, trying to get around Chris Pratt for second place, setting his sights on Greg Wood.
Greg Wood about 2/10 now ahead of Zach, but there's Chris, Kyle. I mean, they are all still bumper to bumper, nose to tail right here. Anybody makes a mistake, and it could go south pretty quickly. A little dive bomb there by Michael Dewalt. He's going to try to get around Chris here out of turn number 4, I do believe. Yep. And the thing about turn number 4 here, the big difference between 4 and 2, 4 is a little bit wider than out of turn number 2. Turn number 2, you got that wall right there, and it comes up on you pretty quickly, so you got to be very careful about that push going up.
Yes, exactly. This Kansas mile-and-a-half D-shaped oval, so both sides of the track, like you alluded to, different from one another. Coming out of turn 4, you're almost still kind of turning that wheel onto this not so straight straightaway, and sometimes, like you see here, going down onto the flat of the straightaway, and then funneling back up into turns 1 and 2, and then coming out of 2. Like we saw a little bit earlier with some drivers getting a bit loose, still probably cranking that wheel more than they should on corner exit. But oh my, I think Kevin Roy had a nose on Kyle Heath as Zach Deuscher takes his 21 car to the lead now.
Yep, and he will lead his first lap here. Taking lap number 63 here. Started 6th up into the top spot. Still have a long way to go.
Greg Wood hit the wall.
Uh-oh, Greg Wood. Yeah, well, it looks like he's all right.
Yeah, if he didn't hit it, he got awful close to it. I think he might have just nudged it, but just ever so slightly halted his momentum just for a moment. That allowed the 22 and 8 to get up here. They're still side by side, though. Good run by Kevin Roy, man. Great to see Kevin up here battling amongst everybody. Normally he just waits in the wings. He just kind of stalks everybody, but right now he is stalking Chris Pratt, being up here inside the top 5.
Chris battling the 8.
But yeah, that's a good battle between Dewalt and Pratt.
And they just get closer to the wall. Going back a little bit further into the field here. Now Jim Coleman-Sperger mired in between Brandon Sheets and Keith Hurlbut. Going back even further, got Keith, Mark Embry, Campbell. They're doing some battling back here together. Larry Blair, Gomez, Gilmore. Now Gilmore is up here with Brandon Hartwell. Gilmore is a lap down, but, you know, what Gilmore needs is a yellow and not to be involved in it, and he will get that wave around. Man, that 43. Jeez, Austin Slayers.
Yeah, everybody just kind of filing, that's how the normal racing line is. You just kind of file up. It just kind of shoots you up towards that wall on corner exit, but ever still present, got to be careful.
Yep. All right, Brantley Roden and Daryl Young out there, both of them. There were no audio. He had no audio during the race, and he blew the motor not knowing.
Oh, no. And no fast repairs here in the SRU Cup Series. So
not this season.
That's costly. And not having your audio, you need, as a driver, a sim racing driver, you need that audio to know you're shifting. Greg Wood got back around the 21, by the way, but you need that audio, to know when your car kind of may be off key just a little bit because of just your shifting points. Every time you shift up, you need to hear that RPM. And if you can't hear that, well, you will most definitely blow that engine.
Yeah, watching Greg Wood, Dewalt, Deuscher, Paff, I mean, they are still neck and neck up here, the top 4, top 5, really. Kevin Roy not too far behind him. Right there is Kyle Heath. Got to go back right behind him is Adams. That would be Jason. And then You got Mark Whitley and Philip Bridgman going at it with Brandon Hartwell, Austin Slayers, Brandon Sheets, Jim Coleman-Sperger. And it seems like when I go back through the field, we get another battles going on. I mean, they're doing one heck of a job out here hanging on to the car. That right front, though, I mean, how many drivers out here have already burnt up that right front?
Oh, there's no telling, Josh.
Oh, no! Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Mark Emery, who?
Yeah.
Oh, and a couple of more, I believe.
Yeah, a couple of more involved in that. And, of course, y'all heard the uh-oh after I did the uh-oh there. And looks like Mark Emery, kind of rewinding it here a little bit. Oh, no, out of turn number 2. Looks like right there battling the 17 of David Cassidy. This is where this yellow is going to happen. So out of 2, it looks like there is some contact there. Maybe some net code. That got the 4 awfully squirrely. He's trying to save it. Oh, hard into the wall. Shoots back up and nowhere to go for the 3
Robbie Stewart.
of Robbie Stewart there. And it does look like Gomez. I don't know how in the world he split that, but he did. Man, oh man, tough break for Emery. And
yeah, he
Robbie
needed a good run from last week, like we talked about. Just our early goings, about lap 3, lap 5 last week, he was on his side, sliding down the front straightaway at Darlington, and you know, no one never wants to do that anywhere, particularly Darlington. And tonight, just hard racing there with David Cassidy going through turn 2. They made slight contact, and anytime you can make contact with race cars, especially these Gen 7 Cup cars, really going to just start to get uncontrollable on you, and unfortunate break.
All right, well, let's see here if we can go ahead and get an interview in here. I know he's in here. Let's talk to Greg Wood here real quick. Greg Wood, buddy, got a copy?
Sure do, sir.
Well, you've been running up toward the front here, man. You got 11 laps of lead here tonight. You're right now sitting 5th. You started 8th, so, you know, kind of, you know, still up there in the top 5, man. Looks like you guys are having a blast out there here at Kansas. Are you, what's the mindset down here with you, man? Already 71 laps into this race.
My mindset is I got nothing to lose. I'm not in the playoffs, so I'm going to race all the playoff drivers clean, but I'm going to give her hell and let her eat.
Well, I mean, it looks like you do have a fast 67 out there. Do you think you have something for these guys?
I'm a good solid top 5. I'd be happy with a top 5. Got Whitley and Kyle Heath and them. They're probably going to be the front runners all night. But if I mind my P's and Q's and save these tires, I might be there in the end.
All right. Hey, man, good luck down there, buddy. You know, no fast repairs, but, you know, it looks like, you know, everybody is doing a very good job of, you know, for the most part, keeping it off the wall. I know you have had, you know, your fair share already tonight with that wall. How do you manage to keep it off of it? A little bit more.
I think I'm still good. Just a little love kiss.
Uh-oh.
If I get into it anymore, then I got problems. But I'm running a little bit of a Larson line sometimes. But, yeah, I think we'll be good.
All righty, buddy. We'll let you get down there back to it, man. Good luck down there. Beautiful paint, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All righty, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that is Greg Wood right here in that 5th spot. Now, the light should go off here, I do believe. They've already pitted, I do believe, here tonight. Yep, they've already pitted, and we are going to cross the stripe, and the lights are off.
Terry Duguay getting one of his laps back there. So, lights are out on the pace car. We will see them go back green here.
Lap 70.
Mark Whitley. Yep. 74 we will get the green, it looks like.
Yeah,
so
lap 74 this coming up time. Yep, Kyle Heath is our leader with Mark Whitley, Jason Adams, Austin Slayers, Greg Wood, Kevin Roy, Zach Neuscher, Michael D. Michael DeWalt, Brandon Hartwell, and Brandon Sheets are top 10.
Mark Whitley was able to get to P2 under this round of caution pit stops, so great to see that progression. Also, some drivers kind of faulting under these pit stops, kind of losing some track position. And the green flag is back out in the air. Even Steven restart from both lanes of the field. Oh, really close encounters of both 77 and 13 there.
Oh, no!
Oh,
Here we
and
go. Yep, we're going around again here.
Uh-oh.
And another uh-oh moment here tonight. And it looks like this happened actually on the restart, I do believe, or close to it. It looks like it sent me back to Philip Bridgman here, but I do see the 19 of Keith Hurlbut right there in the mix. So let me see here if I can get on Keith Hurlbut here. There's Phil. Oh, it looks like Philip got into the wall. And, yeah, okay, so it was right after the restart down into 1. Yeah, right there. Philip right up into the wall. Keith Hurlbut right on the tail of the 11. And that sent Keith right up into the 5. And
yeah,
then Gomez getting a piece of that number 5 there, too.
Looks like Jim and Keith, they were trying to do some evasive maneuvers to try to get around Philip that for some reason, I don't know if he just looked like the car just got away from me, just got tight into the first corner there on those cold tires, possibly not wanting to turn into the corner, and just went into the wall. They were trying to get down the track away from him, and just unfortunately chaos ensued.
Yep. All righty, folks. We are halfway here tonight. Already halfway, and we are right at, well, 5 minutes till 9 Eastern, 5 minutes to 8 Central. You might as well just say 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. These guys did just pit about 5 laps ago, so I don't think we'll see anybody up toward the front come down. We do know Philip Bridgman. It looks like David Cassidy is coming back out here. Gomez kind of just going through the who is on pit road here. I think you got to stay out, Will, and, you know, kind of just keep your tires what you got. You only get a total of 4 sets, so you gotta manage those tires here, you know, very closely. Especially save a set if you can for maybe a late race yellow.
Save those tires and try to get within the next fuel window of being open, and I believe that would be, we got to get to at least, I want to say 110, maybe 105, 110. So, and then next pit window would be open, at least fuel window that would get us to the end of the race. Of course, when these drivers just last pitted, the caution before, so we should be able to extend that, and
Well, if you
just have to wait and see.
If you take it from lap 71 roughly, and you add 45 laps, just going off of 45 laps, it's about lap 116. I don't know if I would go that far.
Right.
Maybe, you know, like you said, 105, 110. I don't think I'd push it even further than that. But then again, you're going to be pushing for, you know, not having enough fuel to make it to the end, I would think.
Exactly.
105, let's see if you do it at 105.
Yeah, that would be really cutting it close.
105.
So.
That's going to be about 45 laps. So I think if you do it about 110, I think you'll be okay.
Yes. But like you said, maybe 116 at the most. So 110, 116 is when we should start to see the next, if we can get there green.
Yes. Yep. They got it. And these guys, you know, they ran that first stage pretty clean out here. Started off a little rough here in the second half, roughly, of the race. Of course, over the halfway mark. So, yeah, the halfway of the race out here. Got a couple of yellows, but, you know, it's cold tires. I blame it on tires. Cold tires. You know, it's
Yes.
got to get, you know, 5, 6, 7 laps into the tires, and I think everybody will, you know, be kind of a tire aware, but, you know, everybody's, you know, especially the top 16, you know, they're hungry.
Almost definitely. Everybody wants to try, you know, to get a win, to keep pushing further into the playoffs. Every position matters. Every point matters. It's all so crucial.
All righty, folks. Well, I want to get everybody's thoughts out there here in just a second about that little uh-oh thing I do, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Pace car is off and away, coming into the Geico start zone here. Kyle Heath, Mark Whitley up in the front row. Green is out. Everybody back on the loud pedal. Good start for Kyle, Mark, Austin, Michael, Jason. Now we're going to dive it down into turn 1. Side by side, I would not count out a 3 wide situation later on into the race. Still too early, I think, Will, to go 3 wide right now.
Yes, I'd have to agree as well with that, but hey, sometimes it's never too early for some, so.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we've got a few drivers out here that's not afraid. Kyle Heath leading
Yeah, Greg
another
Wood
lap.
said that he's got nothing to lose, so.
Yep. I think Greg Wood would be one of the drivers to potentially go 3 wide if maybe he thinks he has a shot at bringing it home at a victory lane. Getting awfully tight back here. The 8 and the 21. Michael DeWalt in the 8. The 21 of Zach Deuscher. The 8 kind of got the rough end of the stick on that one, up real close to the wall. I think he even tagged it there. Gave it a little kiss, as what Greg said earlier.
Yeah, it almost looked for a moment like the 25, Brandon, he wanted to make it 3 wide, but thought better of it. So now Jason Adams up here trying to secure second place away, but he's got a lot of hungry hounds behind him. Michael DeWalt, yep. Mark
And
Whitley.
here we go.
3
wide, 43, backing out of it quick.
Oh.
Yeah, that almost didn't end up quite well, as he did back out of it, and that almost, he almost got rear-ended there by the 25 of Brandon Hartwell.
Yeah, you can really tell when you do
Here we go
have
again,
to lift.
another 3 wide. Well, that 3 wide didn't last but a
Almost.
second. Yeah, Mark Whitley backed out.
So DeWalt taking the second position away. Now Deuscher in third. Jason trying to hold on to whatever he can, but Greg Wood, as we alluded to, back up there, taking that position away. Oh, Kyle Heath went way downstairs to block a run that Michael DeWalt had. So.
Yep, got some blocking going on.
DeWalt really looking for the lead here.
Now DeWalt's going to take that low line, and he's going to have it. 13, diving it right in front of the 21. Got some blinking going on back there, it looks like. Man, that was close up front. Ooh, 21 of Zach Deuscher. Trying to hang on. Yeah, he's having a little moment there.
But Greg Wood getting to the inside.
Holmansberger, Hartwell, Whitley, Adams. You know, they're all kind of neck and neck here. All right, well, we got to get back up here. Because, man, second, third, and fourth putting on a show. And we've got 5th, 6th, and 7th. Jim Coleman-Sperger. There's that Folgers 11. Started 18th, I think, right now, as I'm looking at it here. Looks like Jim might be one of our biggest movers out here tonight. I'd have to really look at it and go through the field here, but let's see here. Out of the top 6, it would be Jim. And Brandon
Harpoon going another lap down to the race leaders as everybody back here. Chris Pratt trying to work his way through the traffic, get back up to the top 5, but it is so difficult sometimes. Once you get put back in the dirty air, back into traffic, it can be difficult. Also, the sun is set, so nighttime conditions here at Kansas. We kind of started almost at sunset, then the sun gradually was setting.
Yeah,
and
kind of cooled off that track some more.
Oh, yeah. One would think, but
well, let's take a look here real quickly. 68-degree track temp.
Oh, yeah. Very cool track. So, really going to help the grip of the cars. And no wind here tonight at Kansas, so that's also going to help these drivers navigate the turns a whole lot better. You're not going to have that wind push you up the track.
Again, Philip Bridgman in the middle. The 43 of Austin was onto the outside. Austin's going to back out. Jason Adams of the 24. And then the 12, that was Kevin Roy. Nice to see Kevin out here. I mean, these guys, 22 drivers. Well, we've got 21 out on the track. Mark Emery is back out on the racetrack. Unfortunately, he is 13 laps down, but he is out here. That's what you got to do. Just pick up as many spots, if possible, that you can.
Oh, yes, indeed. That you can to keep solidifying your place in the playoffs, or just keep trying to get out there, log the laps. Hopefully other competitors have some misfortune and you can pick up some more spots.
Yes. Lap number 90.
So 60 laps to go.
And this is really wound down here. If they continue green here, folks, they will be done with it in about 31 minutes.
Deutscher around the outside of DeWalt.
And
he's bringing Greg Wood and Coleman'sberger with him.
He got the lap, but DeWalt is going to foul right behind the 21, but Wood, Coleman'sberger right there with him. Now that is the 4 of Mark Emery, who is not battling for position, but he is up here. So lap traffic, you know, he's not really playing a factor right now as he is right behind the top 4. But
top 4 have real good separation. Then back to Kyle Heath.
Yep.
So Kyle Heath has Brandon with him in tow, and everybody else, Brandon Sheets. So the 2 Brandons, then the 22 of Chris Pratt, Mark Whitley, Philip Bridgman up here still. So
yeah, I got some guys right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 cars right here together. So they are coming up on the. Let's see who that is. They are all coming up on the 13 of Kyle, trying to get around Kyle, but Kyle's holding his line. Bridgman and Whitley going at it. That's back here for 9th. David Cassidy right on the tail of them. Going back even a little bit further, Kevin Roy, Christopher Campbell, Austin Solairs. These guys back here just kind of doing some single file fishing, as I would like to call it. You know, they're trying to reel in the driver ahead of them, and it looks like Jason Adams, with the help of the wall there, as Austin kissed it a little bit, kind of reeled him in a little bit. Now,
yeah, the walls can kind of help you out if you're trying to catch a driver. That driver really tempting, you know, trying to run that high side, and every now and again, if you just overdrive the entry, you will find yourself meeting that wall. Hello, wall.
Hello, wall.
But yeah. So Zach Deutscher got the lead away from D-Walt, and Jim Coleman'sberger right behind the 21 now.
Yeah, here
Mark Embry with that repaired car.
Yeah, Mark, not for position, but he is up here, so, you know, definitely going to have to keep a close eye because, you know, he's battling the leaders up here. Looks like he is staying sort of kind of low. He just, well, he dove it in front of the 8 of DeWalt, and then DeWalt goes low, and here comes the 67 of Greg Wood. But out of turn number 4, Greg is not going to be able to get to his inside. We'll see if he can do it into turn 1.
Yeah, sometimes whenever you have a car that is, you know, multiple laps down, you, as a driver on the lead lap, especially being in the top 5, and that driver is kind of up there around you, you're kind of in your head, or maybe even sometimes out loud questioning why that's taking place.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know if it was somebody, you know, in danger of going a lap down, you almost gotta treat them differently. You know, give them a, you know, see if they can hang on to the lead lap. But if you're multiple laps down, you almost got to be a sportsman, gentleman-like, kind of let everybody else race it out. But Mark trying to see what that repaired car can do up here.
Yep, I mean, he's up here with a 67. Oh, push up there, yep. No harm, no foul done. All right, well, lap 99 there as it updates. Let's kind of check through it here. Looks like Kevin Roy, Philip Bridgman. Looks like Kevin is going to take that spot. We'll see if Philip is going to be able to do a crossover. No, not going to happen out of 2. Well, they've been already out here. Well, some drivers anywhere between 23 and 28 laps. So we are getting ever so closer, I think, to the final round of pit stops here coming up in about 10 to 15 laps. You know, with the way they pitted here, 29 stint run for some, 23 for others. I think for the most part, everybody on the lead lap at about 24 to 28 laps, 29 laps. So about 105, 110, roughly 115, probably at the latest. You'll see these guys start coming down pit road.
Zach Deutscher out to a decent lead. Might be 0.8 of a second, maybe 0.7, I think. Only 5 tenths, 5 tenths.
About a half a second, so, yeah.
As I said that, Jim kind of reeling him back in, so.
Yep, there's Zach, there's Jim, there's D-Walt. Now, I was on Jim thinking I was on Zach, and then I seen the 8, and I'm like, wait a minute. I got confused myself.
But, man, this race has just...
That's flown by.
Well, yes, has flown by, but also has been just ever so entertaining.
Relatively calm for what it could have been. I mean, just think you know, just think if all 3 lines, you know, were like the racing lines. It doesn't matter what line you go on. You know, we could have had 3 wide all night long, but, you know, as the run goes on, it seemed like, as Kansas usually is, that Larson line, you know, coming into play, and a lot of the guys running that high Larson line. Notice Michael DeWalt, though, not really running
likes the low lane.
Yeah, and it's working out for him, too.
It seems like he's almost that Kevin Harvick type of driver where he just does that bottom feeder type mentality.
I'm going to start
Go ahead.
I'm going to start calling him a catfish because, you know, catfish like to feed on the bottom of the river or the ponds. Well,
yes, sir.
You know, he likes to feed on the bottom of the racetrack. So,
I mean, he gets a good arc into the corner, able to cut it down onto the bottom exactly how you would want to do it.
no,
Yeah, Jim dragging the wall down.
We don't need anything. We don't need any ground up coffee here tonight, buddy.
That'll allow Greg Wood to get by. So
I didn't really want to say that here tonight, but we did see Jim just kind of getting to the wall there a little bit. And man,
DeWalt now trying to get back to the race lead.
And lap
trying
105.
Yep, closing in, like you alluded to, what we speculate to be a final pit stop of the evening in about 10, maybe 12 or so more laps, just depending. They could, like I said, that they could take it a little bit longer. So
let's see where we're sitting at right now on these drivers. About 35 laps. So I say within about 105 is about where you want to go. I don't think you chance it. I don't think you chance it to pass 115. I really don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I know I said 105, but we are at 106. So, yeah, I don't think you chance it past 115. You've got to. Then again, I mean, do you chance it past 110? And you give that 5-lap buffer there.
Robbie said caution for coffee grains all over the track. So.
Wow, Robbie. Rubber ducky? No, we don't want no rubber ducky. We don't. I mean, these guys have been running clean. We had a few here tonight. We had the stage caution, and then a couple of cautions after that. But right now, we've been green, folks. We have been green for quite some time. Man, Zach, he's holding his own, man. I gotta say, Zach Deuscher's holding his own up here. But man, Michael DeWalt doing about the same. He's holding his own.
Really able to keep that high side momentum up. And Michael really throwing it in on the bottom. I think that could be eating the tire up a little bit more.
I think no, it wasn't Jim. That was Mark Emery that tagged the wall.
Nope.
Jim's getting close to that wall again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there goes. Yeah.
Big gap up to the front 3, and then back here to Jim. So about 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, about 2.5 seconds to
Jim.
the leader. Yeah. Now about 2 seconds to Greg Wood. So it looks like man.
Getting racy even more as Michael DeWalt. He could have a slide job going here.
And
for sure,
he's got it. DeWalt back up front. Using a little bit of those power tool action in that Budweiser 8. I think his last name's cool. DeWalt.
Oh yeah. That is a pretty decently cool last name to have. Doesn't seem to be any relation to the power tool brand company.
Probably not, but we're gonna make it. He's power tooling it here tonight. All right, Kevin Roy is down pit road, so it looks like we've got some drivers now starting to make their way down pit road for what potentially could be the final time. Now it looks like our top 3 are not coming down. Brandon Sheets is not coming down. No, we got cars. We got a car here that is cutting grass. And I don't know who that was. That might have been Kevin. Was that Kevin Roy?
No. It was, I would want to say Cassidy, but I don't think it was Cassidy. It was a black car, I believe, but I couldn't get the number as it happened super quick.
I don't know if we could rewind that and find out. I don't want to miss pit stops. We just had a few more come down. Whitley, and it looks like now Jim Coleman, Spurger, Whitley both coming back out here. So we do have pit stops going on, potentially the final time. We're waiting on the big group to come down here. Now, Michael DeWalt is not coming down. Deutscher, Wood, Sheets is not coming. Path, Heath, Hartwell. Now, there is Cassidy right here.
Okay, so it wasn't Cassidy,
So
but it was a
he's in-
black car, I believe.
Yeah, he's in 8th. Christopher Campbell's in 9th. Looks like Larry Blair down pit road. Jason Adams down pit road. All right, pit road starting to heat up a little bit more. And it looks like, I thought for a second there, the Me Marie Design 13 was coming down, but nope. You know, they get real close to the bottom in between 3 and 4, and I think, you know, they're slowing down to come down. And all right, Steve Tucker out there. What's up, Steve? Oh, Adams, if I can get on him. Adams and Blair coming off of pit road. And I'm not seeing anybody else, man. These guys they're going the distance. They're going to go as far as they can here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which I kind of expected that. I was expecting, you know, when that pit window would open, you would have a few like we have seen come in already, and then the others later, that is, go the distance like we just talked about. So...
All right, here we go. Greg Wood down pit road. Sheets, Path, Heath, Hartwell. Well, the biggest group we've seen so far.
Sheets got slideways coming into the pits, but able to get it pointed straight. So
Hurlbutt down. Bridgman down. Michael DeWalt, though, has been out here 46. This will make it 47 laps for DeWalt. Zach Deutscher's been out here the same 47 laps.
The final round of pit stops, though, will be the great equalizer of this race, I do believe.
Well, tires.
Yes.
You know, the guys that's coming out that pitted earlier, you know, they're going to have older tires, but, you know, who's it going to – these guys could be banking on a caution, too, to trap some of these guys a lap down. Here comes Deutscher down pit road. He's had enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. You could try to get hoping for a caution to, like you said, trap some of these guys a lap down, because some of these guys, just as fast as you, if not slightly faster, they're just kind of out of position, just further back in the field, stuck in that dirty air. So if you can trap them a lap down, that is great.
Here comes DeWalt. Trying not to interrupt you there, but our leader is finally coming down. Oh, no! Keith Hurlbut hitting that entrance cone to pit road.
Well, that's probably going to give him an unsafe entry pit, more than likely, I think.
Austin Solairs, the last driver that needs to pit. He's out of turn 2 now. I would imagine he will come down this time. I don't think he'll stay out another lap. It surprised me. Now here goes. He's slowing down. All right. He is the last driver that needs to come down. All righty.
So like you talked about, the drivers that pitted earlier before these drivers that pitted later, so the undercut could be beneficial to the overcut, are just staying out longer. So the drivers with the fresher tires that was able to get back out on track compared to the drivers that stayed out with the older tires, losing a little bit more time, you could gain on those drivers that stayed out, but also you're going to have older tires before those others. So the drivers that coming out now with the fresher tires, they're going to get that position back eventually, more than likely, yes, with the fresh tires. But also pitting early, you're like you talked about, you're not going to have that tire life towards the end of the run. Dewalt, man,
Now,
you can kind of tell pitting late might have hurt Dewalt, but also he might be able to refocus here, get his mind back at the situation at hand, and run back down Greg Wood, Mark Whitley here, Jim Coleman'sberger. So Mark Whitley, a big mover under this cycle of pit stops.
Now looking at it here, now he has been out here at about 10 laps, the same as Coleman'sberger. Here comes Dewalt to the inside of the 77, trying to fight back, and Dewalt's only been out here 2 laps. Well, make it 3. He's on his 3rd lap right now. Jim has been out here 10 like Mark, but I think it's going to come down to tires. Greg Wood, here we go, battle for the lead. Coleman'sberger up to the top for the first time in the Folgers 11. Can he hold off to 67 here and grab his first lap lead? I believe he will out of turn number 4 through the tri-oval. 1 lap lead for Coleman'sberger. And Jim needed that. He needed a bonus point coming into tonight, being back into that 9th spot here. 42 behind the leader, but only 1 behind Keith. He needed that bonus point to move him up, now tied per se with Keith Hurlbut.
Yes, indeed. And Dewalt now with the fresh tires compared to the guys he's kind of fighting with at the moment. So I think Jim kind of had Jim and Mark, kind of Greg as well. They had those hot, fresh tires for a good minute, but now Dewalt finally getting his tires up to temperature after coming out of the pits. So he's fighting back, going after that lead yet again.
Nice to see Terry out here. Terry DeGay started 19th, running up in that 13th position. So up 6 spots from where he started here late, really late into the race. We will be headed to that 20 to go mark here in about 4 laps. And man, we still got that battle up front though with Jim and Dewalt.
Yeah, Dewalt now taking the high line around the track at the moment instead of being that bottom feeder that we saw earlier.
Yeah,
so
he's turned into a bass now. He's trying to do what bass do, jump the water to get food.
Zach Deuscher trying to run down Michael Dewalt because they were 1st and 2nd before these pit stops occurred here, the final round of pit stops. So
looks like Zach's got to get around Greg Wood first.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And safely.
So
all right,
trying to navigate that.
I think Will Roberts just drunk all my coffee here tonight, folks. We'll blame it on Will. I can't blame it on Darnell. He ain't racing out here tonight. Got some personal stuff going on. We miss you out here, Robbie, but we know the circumstances, man. We understand. Man, that was close. Golly. Jim, Zach, Greg. I thought for a second all 3 of them were going to, be like magnets and, just collect one another. But I don't know how in the world they got through that. Golly.
Yeah, they are slicing and dicing with one another for sure. Zach really trying to find a way by. He kind of stuck, kind of boxed in there at the moment, trying to work with Jim.
Another thing I want to mention, the harder they race, now you mentioned it earlier, the harder they race, it brings up drivers behind them. So we got Mark Whitley, Kyle Heath, and the 25 of Brandon Hartwell. I mean, these guys are all stacked up from 2nd all the way back here to 7th. But the more they race, the further Michael Dewalt, with that clean air and nobody around him, is going to push even further ahead. So I don't know if these guys are thinking about that or not, but what we do know for a fact is we got 20 to go out here tonight, folks. Big shout out to Brantley Road out there. Harpoon Designs coming on board, sponsored the series again this season. We do hope he comes back next season, but we'll figure all that out during the off season after the 8 races that are left. So Brantley, big shout out to you out there again, brother, for sponsoring the guys out here this season, man. Big shout out to Robbie Darnell and all the admins over here at SRU for the Cup Series, and of course you, Will, for helping me on Sunday nights here. It's some nights it's kind of like this, kind of laid back, calling some good racing, side by side, very close indeed, green flag runs. Other nights, I mean, good racing, and then we have the moments, But always glad to have you.
Oh, great to be here, Josh. I'm glad to be here. It's always great to call the races with you.
Yep, Jim Coleman'sberger, I was actually just fixed to click on him because he's got Whitley and Heath and Hartwell. I mean, these 4 right here together, throw a blanket over the top of them.
Yeah, I think Jim is really trying to get a top 5.
Oh, Heath!
Yep.
Heath!
Very close racing between Whitley and Heath.
Heath was trying to get around the 77, and I think if there was a little bit more track there, I think Kyle would have managed to do it. So we see Mark Whitley now trying to get around Jim. And man.
Awful close. Getting that side draft down the back straightaway, trying to get any type of assistance he can. Oh, slide job on Jim.
Now that, man, it's starting to get a little dicey up here with these 4. I'm going to stay right here. I am not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay right here, and we're going to see here Greg Wood is still about a second back behind DeWalt. So I'll keep an eye on it.
Maintain that distance.
Yeah, we do have Brandon Hartwell in the mix here too. So looks like Hartwell right behind Kyle Heath. It looks like Hartwell trying to give Heath a shove, and he does just that. Gives him enough momentum, maybe a little bit of a push there to get around Mark Whitley. So Kyle back up into the 4th, started in 2nd. Me Marie Design 13. We know in the long run, Kyle Heath is fast, but very close. 4th, 5th, 6th. Jim kind of buying his time right now. He sees what's going on up ahead of him. Oh, Kyle up into the wall. I think the 77 also might have gotten to the wall too a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't look like no love lost between Mark and Kyle there. So
14 to go, about 1.2 seconds. Michael DeWalt's going to be 13 to go here at the stripe. And back here to Hartwell and Heath and Whitley, Jim. Kind of mired back now a little bit. Brandon Sheets, Chris Paff. Check on Chris. He's back here in 9th. Evan Roy, Jeff Gilmore, David Cassidy. Everybody else kind of spread out right now. Not a whole lot going on between anybody else. So really our battle right now is between Kyle Heath, Mark Whitley, and Brandon Hartwell, as well as, Zach and Greg. There is about, oh man, Zach is about a half a second. But right here, let's see. Well, we're going to get back here to Whitley, Heath, and Hartwell again. We're going to we're just kind of going to stay right here and as we get closer toward the end of the race, we'll move up toward the front. Yeah, Robbie, it is great to see Jim running up toward the front here. He's mired back into the 7th spot right now, but I think Jim's just buying his time for a late race yellow, to be honest. So I think if they keep racing it up like they're doing right here, I think we might have one.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Anything is quite possible, and as hard as they are racing, contact is sure to be made a lot, just a little bit more than what it has been already.
Yep. And Robbie knows me very well. I'll say what's on my mind. I'm not afraid to. Call it as I see it. And Brandon putting pressure, though, on Kyle. And that has brought Jim Coleman'sberger up closer to the 25. We do have 10 to go. Looks like BNR Racing Network out there. Well, thank you. Oh, he said great commentary by Will and y'all. Okay, I see how it is, BNR. I see how it is. You don't love me no more. Well, you don't know me either, so, you know. Got to give old BNR out there a hard time. All right, it looks like they kind of got it figured out for now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but...
Yeah, it looks like Whitley's kind of tried to run away from Kyle after that hard battling racing that they had going on there for a good handful of laps. Final closing 10 laps, 8 laps to go here.
Yeah.
So Michael Dewalt trying to maintain that second and a quarter gap to second place Greg Wood. And Greg Wood has kind of gotten away from Zach Deutscher, so decent gaps in the top 3.
About a 1.2 seconds back is Mark Whitley. And Kyle Heath is about, I mean, he's right there. He's about 2/10 behind Mark. Brandon Hartwell he's just right on the tail of Kyle Heath. So, you know, I mean, these guys are coming. Brandon Sheets, Chris Paff, Jim Coleman'sberger trying to make his way back up there. It ain't over, folks. We got 7 laps to go, so it is not over by any means necessary. We do have to talk about, though, potential green-white checkered attempts. They do have 3. Of course, no fast repairs. We do get a late race caution under 4 to go. Yeah, under 4 to go, basically. Then it will set up a GWC attempt. They only get 3 attempts at those. Well, could we have one? Yeah, I'm not going to rule it out. We could have 1 or 2. Heck, we could have 3 for all I know. But do we want them? No, we do not. These guys, you know, been running clean 100% of the night. For the most part, a little bit of hiccups here and there, Will, but, you know, nothing they could not overcome. As the run got longer and longer, it seems like those short runs were just the issue.
Yes, exactly. Had a couple of hiccups, like you said. The short runs didn't fare too kind. We kind of had a couple of back-to-back cautions, but other than that, been outstanding stand-up, great racing. Like,
yes.
Just no other words to really, almost speechless racing, really, because of how many great battles we've had throughout the night. So many different leaders, lead changes.
Let's go ahead and look at that here.
For the lead.
Yeah, 16 lead changes, 4 laps to go now. Yeah, I just seen that, 4 laps to go. 11 caution laps, but that does include that stage caution. So if you throw that out the window and you take away one caution, that leaves us with 2 cautions for probably about 9 laps per se. Just taking away 3 laps for caution laps. So, you know, yeah, not a bad race at all for round number 2. We 3 to go. We get a yellow now. Well, guess what? It definitely could be, and just now see Mark Whitley did get around Zach Deutscher here for that 3rd position. That is the final podium spot. Kyle Heath, Chris Paff going at it. Chris getting around Kyle here for that 6th position. Michael Dewalt is going to take the 2 to go here. So, I mean, we still got battles here, folks. I don't think Mark Whitley could catch up to Greg Wood. I think Greg is pretty good here in that P2 spot. However, though, Brandon Hartwell making a last-ditch effort. Zach Deutscher wouldn't rule him out here either, trying to get up and around the Harpoon Design 77, but across the stripe, 1 to go. We will finish this here tonight under regulation.
Yes, Michael Dewalt leading this race, almost a dominating performance. Going to lead 42 laps of this race.
All right, and down into 3, the middle of 3 and 4. And coming out of turn number 4, Michael Dewalt will grab the win here tonight for round number 2 of the top 16 here at Kansas for the SRU Harpoon Design Cup Series. Greg Wood will finish in that P2 spot. Mark Whitley will grab the 3rd place final podium finish. Brandon Hartwell in 4th, and Zach Deuscher will round out the top 5 here. And, you know, Michael Dewalt not in the chase, nor is Greg Wood. So that right there, the 1 and 2 spots, they just took away from those points that could have been for those chase drivers. But not going to take nothing away from Michael Dewalt and Greg Wood here tonight. Awesome job by these guys. We're going to get the top 3 down here for the MaxspeedTV post-race show. Hang tight, folks. We will be right back. Alrighty, folks, we are back. I have caught up with our top 3. We are going to start here with Michael Dewalt here tonight, the Budweiser number 8. We got the paint out there here tonight, buddy. Had to refresh Trading Paints, but with that being said, doesn't look like you had any technical difficulties out there here tonight, but man, talk about it. Great racing by all of you out there. Great run. And what a win out here tonight, buddy, for round number 2 of the top 16, man, in the chase. Man, we got to hear from you down there in that beautiful Budweiser 8. You were probably one of the fastest out there. We had several of them, but it seemed like when you got out front, there wasn't really anybody that was going to catch you on those fresher tires per se. But we got to hear from you, Mike, man. Talk about it, buddy.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks to everybody that puts this on. Had really fun racing tonight with everybody. Very clean race. Just really good racing. Obviously, Kansas is a really good multiple groove track, and a lot of people have different strategies on how to drive this. But the strategy kind of fell in our favor. Me and the 21 took 4 tires on one of those cautions, and we wanted it to go green for the long run, and it did. And just try to take care of my tires on the bottom there. I know a lot of guys were pushing on the top most of the race and kind of burning their stuff up, and so I just tried to stay within reach, keep my car on the bottom, save tire, and then once I got out front, save tire into the end, and then the last 10 laps, I just let it rip on the top.
Yeah, and we're gonna, if you go back and watch the broadcast, you're gonna hear me call you a catfish out here tonight, because you know how catfishes, they love feeding on the bottom, of a lake or a river. I don't know if you fish or anything, but that's what catfish do. They're bottom feeders. Tonight you were a bottom feeder at the time, but it worked for you. Not taking it away from you. The bottom doesn't work for everybody. And then later on into the race, you turned into a bass out there here, buddy. I mean, you were just on that top line, and both lines, regardless, it worked out for you. Was the transition going from the bottom to the top easy, or was it hard?
Honestly, it was pretty easy for me. I didn't have a whole lot of practice coming in. I was still able to kind of get in a rhythm in both lanes when I needed to. Like I said, just tried to stay on the bottom as much as I can, but if I needed to get around somebody, I could just use the top, and it stuck. I got in the wall a couple times during the race, but no harm done. These cars are pretty stable, but yeah, overall just a really good race. Super excited to be able to win and beat some of the best here, and looking forward to next week. I don't even know what track it is.
Well, we're about to talk about it, man. We go to the last great Coliseum next week. We go to Bristol. 250
awesome.
laps. That race is kind of like a road course, man. It's going to go by fast. So, with that being said, short track racing, you go a lap down, you pit, regardless of how you pit, you're going to go a couple of laps down quickly, and if it goes green with no yellows, it's going to be hard, difficult to get those laps back. But, it is short track racing, so you can, if the cautions kind of do come out, at a certain point, you can get back on the lead lap. But what do you think about, Bristol, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very similar to this type of track. I know it's 2 different tracks, but it's kind of a mini Kansas. You're going to have 2 lanes. You're going to have people saving tire on the bottom and then getting past on the top. And again, the fast lanes on the top, as far as I know. So stuff's going to happen in a hurry, so you got to be able to react to it. But going to be a good race in 2 lanes, and probably going to be a lot more cautions than there was tonight.
Well, I've been surprised before. Trust me, with these guys, you just never know. You think you're going into a race, oh man, we're going to have a lot of cautions, man. You might pick, 5, 6, 7 cautions, or maybe 3 or 4, and then it turned out, you don't have any, or you say, oh, we're not going to have any cautions, and well, you know how that can go. So,
Yep.
I've been shocked before at Bristol. So nothing really here on iRacing surprises me anymore. So, but Michael, awesome job out there tonight, man. Awesome win. I know you've got thoughts, final thoughts, shout outs, thanks you want to give here tonight, buddy. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, man.
Well, just thanks to Austin Slayers. I was kind of riding with him on the radio, and kind of usually do during these races. So it was good to get his perspective during the race and kind of work with him.
All righty, Mike. Well, I guess we'll let you go celebrate your victory here tonight, buddy, and we will see you next week at Bristol.
10-4, thanks.
Yep. All right, well, that is going to bring us here to our P2 finisher here tonight. We talked to him in the race here this evening. That is going to be Greg Wood, and I'm trying to get his vehicle down here, and there it is right there. Well, Greg, man, you're coming into that P2 spot. Of course, the top 2 not in the chase, but I'm not going to take anything away from you, man. Stealing points away from drivers. Grab you a podium finish out here tonight, Greg. Dude, we got to hear from you, man.
It was definitely a battle. That last pit stop, I was like, I'll let DeWalt pass me, let him burn his stuff up, and then because I was running the bottom, I was committed to that bottom until I needed to make up some time. Then I moved to the top, but he never did. But once he seen what the line I was running the kind of enter high and cut down in middle 1 and 2, and he seen that and he moved up, so I had to move back down. I just couldn't catch him.
Well, Kansas, I talked about it last week coming into tonight. We talked about it tonight. You had two lines. Sometimes it's all three lines. It just seemed like tonight, early on run, low line, and then as the run went on, I even talked to you about it, was the high line, and that's kind of the way it, I guess, fell per se, but I know every driver is different. You may be faster on the low side, slower on the high side. Other drivers faster on the high side, slower on the low. So, what was it like, the difference from your perspective from the low to the high side and the tire difference?
Personally, if I could run the high side the whole race, I would do it. I mean, I prefer the high side. I'll run the wall all night long. But in the interest of saving tires, I definitely ran the low line, let people pass me on the high side. The high side definitely had the most speed. Yeah, I mean, you weren't beating that speed on the high side, especially on corner exit. But it was a game of patience.
Yeah.
Like just it's hard. It's the hardest thing in the world is to watch cars go by you. But you just gotta think of the bigger picture. I know Whitley was thinking the same thing. Just save them and then just run back through the field. But yeah, the high side is definitely my preference and definitely had the most speed. But you wouldn't have had a right rear by the end of probably 30 laps on that set of tires if you did. So ran the bottom. Once the right front started getting a little hot, getting a little gone, then I moved up. Actually, I found the middle lane of 1 and 2 actually be pretty decent, and then one lane up in 3 and 4 was actually working pretty good. Left side tires on the seam.
Okay, so kind of really all the lines in certain situations basically came into play, depending on what situation you was in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
I
mean,
had
go ahead. Mike's yours, man. Go ahead.
I had Zach behind me, the 21. He was definitely creeping on my back bumper. So I changed my line. I was air blocking the crap out of him the best I could because, I mean, like I said, I'm not in the playoffs. I could have been if I would have did the whole season, but I didn't. Kind of came in a little late. So, but I air blocked him for a couple laps. He lost the nose a couple times, and he just kind of fell back. So that was the name of the game. Run your line until you see somebody coming up on you, then you run their line and force them to make a mistake.
kind of make them pass you and not you let
Yep.
them around you, basically. Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's racing. I mean, you guys are on the lead lap. You're always racing it up. So, hey, I get what you're saying, bud. Kansas, great track. I love Kansas. Probably I would consider it a local track for me. I live in Arkansas, so I'm in between Kansas, Texas, and Talladega. So, I'm kind of right there at a triangle. So, I would consider it a local. It's a great track. I've never been to a NASCAR race, but, I love watching them on iRacing. But the track next week going to be totally different from Kansas per se in a way. It's short track racing. We go to the last great Coliseum, Bristol. How do you feel about Bristol, man? Do you got something for these guys?
I'm pretty quick at Bristol. I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty quick. The high line is where it's at, and I love the high line. It's the week after that I despise. Texas, if you have a track that's 8 lanes wide and you can only use 1.5 of them, then you need to do something about it.
That kind of reminds me of Iowa. Just fill it up with water and turning it into a swimming pool, right?
Yep, that's exactly my thoughts with New Texas. There's no sense in that. Yeah, Bristol should be fun. It's going to be a lot of lap traffic to maneuver around and trying to anticipate where the car in front of you is going to go so you don't go the same spot. You're going to have guys that's going to go straight to the top. You're going to have guys that's going to work the bottom. So it's going to be kind of like Kansas, but that top line is definitely going to prevail just like it did tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll see it next week. Hopefully, I think Robbie's going to probably make it 150 degrees next week. It's going to be hot, slick. Everybody's going to burn tires. I don't know what Robbie's going to do. So, hint, Robbie. He's out there in chat here tonight. So, we'll see what Bristol holds next week, buddy. I'm not going to hold you any longer, man. Awesome job, P2, out here tonight, man. Any, final thoughts, shout-outs, thanks you want to give before you go celebrate, bud?
Just shout out to everybody at SRU. I mean, this is by far the best league I've ever ran in, ever. I've been on iRacing for 3 years. I'm one of those COVID racers. So when I joined, and cleanest racing, best group of guys ever raced with. So no complaints here.
All right. Well, good complaints coming out there. Good complaints, not bad complaints. Good complaints out there coming from Gregwood out here tonight. Well, Greg, go celebrate. Beautiful paint again. We got a good close-up view of it now. Now we can see it. So, I know you've you worked your butt off out there here tonight, buddy. So go celebrate second, and I guess we'll see you next week in Bristol.
Alrighty, sir. Appreciate it.
You too. All righty, well, to finish it up here tonight, coming in third, he was going for the win. He was trying to make his way back up to the front. I'm trying to get some sun on the car here. Kind of dark there. Him sitting on pit road, the 77 Harpoon design, Mark Whitley. Well, Mark, third place out here tonight. Going to pick up some points, yet again. But, you was trying to go for the win, strategy call. We got to hear from you because everything, I don't think, worked out to your favor. But, we got to hear from you, man. You were the one that was driving. Mike's yours.
Yeah, I was just trying to save tire that first run. I think I went a little bit too easy and fell too far back, and I just ran out of time to get back up there. I definitely had the fastest car at the end of the first stage, but it just ran out of laps. I went too late, fell back too far, whatever you want to do, just a little miscalculation. And I had like 1 or 2 more laps. I might have been able to get them, but after that, it was, just trying to take it easy, just be a little bit closer, but still try to save the tires, and kind of got some cautions there that caught us off guard. And we get that one caution after it had been about 20 laps, and we only had 2 sets left. I didn't want to be down to 1 set left with like 80 laps to go. So I decided to just stay out, and I was hoping it wouldn't go green, and we had a quick caution, but then it went green the rest of the way, unfortunately. Usually I'm all for going green, but I really wanted a caution there the last like 15, 20 laps. But, it worked out. We kind of played a little strategy, pitted a couple laps early just to undercut the guys since we had the extra set of tires, and, ran it pretty good. Was running second there at one point. Didn't want to push the car too hard because I knew we still had kind of a longish run to the finish, and Kyle caught us, and I had to start pushing a little bit harder, and I started trying a different line, and it really worked for the car. And I think he fell back. I don't know if he got in the wall or something, but it looked like he fell back there at the end, and we were able to run down third place and grab that one more position to try to put many cars between me and Kyle for the championship. So, top 3, it's hard to say it's a disappointment, but the strategy didn't really go our way, but we still managed the top 3 out of it, so can't really complain. And it was just a tough night. It was just a bunch of fast guys in here, and it was just me trying to just save tires and be faster on the long run, and just mistimed it a little bit, got a little unlucky with strategy. But top 3 in this field's pretty good in my books.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, you guys, was battling out there for quite some time. You, Hartwell, I think you was battling Chris Paff at times, Zach Deutscher, Kyle Heath, even. Brandon Sheets, I think, was up there a time or two. I mean, at some point, you were battling, I think, every single vehicle out here, either once or multiple times. And I think you even had to deal with some lap traffic, there too. What was it like around the lap traffic, or did you have to fight it too much?
It was just, cars, even on the long run, they didn't fall off a whole lot. They only fell off maybe a second, maybe a little bit more than a second at the very, very tail end of the run. So all the cars are really close on speed, even when you had a tire advantage. It was really about trying to make sure you got off the corner as fast as possible with these cars. It's really momentum based. So I was just trying to make sure, back up the corners a little bit and just get back to the gas before the guy in front of you, and just try to come up, either go around the outside or cut it low and get a good run off. Pretty much what it came down to.
All right. Well, not too shabby out here tonight. Had the stage caution, and then, a couple of cautions after that. But, nevertheless, not a bad night. A couple of guys up ahead of you, not the chase, but, grabbing. Yeah, I say stealing it away from the top 16, because that's technically what they did. They stole those points away that you guys, need. And, hey, that's just more fight y'all have to do, right?
Yeah, well, I guess, it's a bigger deal when they're in the middle, but when they're just up there at the front, like front twos like that, it doesn't really affect it too much, because there's no like extra cars between any of the playoff guys. So I think that's not a huge deal. I kind of wish there'd been a couple more between me and Kyle to give me a little bit more breathing room, but just go in there. We're going to Bristol. I love that track. So hopefully we can have a good run out there, and that track's just gonna be about staying out of trouble, I think. So hopefully we can continue some momentum and just keep this top 5 streak rolling.
Yeah, Robbie said he's gonna set the track temp at 15 degrees.
That's gonna be a little grippy.
Just a little bit, right? All righty, Mark. Well, I know you got some thoughts, final thoughts, shout outs, things you want to get, buddy. So we're gonna let you do that, man. Mike's yours again.
All right. Shout out Brantley Harpoon Design, putting together this awesome race car paint scheme, doing all the hard work on the spotter stand. You know, it was a little crazy there for him. I know when I was saving it, we were in the middle of all the cluster back in the back half of the top 10. So he got a little bit of extra work tonight. So I appreciate him. And thanks the league putting on a great race. Had some cautions in the middle there, but had a lot of long green flag racing, and that's testament to the quality of the league. Shout out to my family tuning these broadcasts of races. I really appreciate it. And shout out to you for putting on a great broadcast. It should be fun to go back and watch. I'm doing a little torture of myself. I'm pulling double duty tonight. About to run another league race, so
wow.
well, hopefully we can do pretty good there, and we'll see what happens.
All righty. Well, awesome job out here tonight. Third place, Mark. Good luck in your next race here coming up, man. Go get ready for that race. We'll see you next week at Bristol, bud.
Sounds good.
Yep. All right, well, that is Mark Whitley, so good luck to him in his next race that he's doing. But, Will, beautiful race out here tonight. I mean, I don't have anything to say. It wasn't a bad night at all by any means. I mean, a few hiccups here and there, but, like I said earlier, nothing that they couldn't overcome. And more overcome that they did, too, man. They battling it out there here tonight at Kansas, and we technically seen all the lines come into play out here tonight.
Yes, it was a fantastic Kansas race in the SRU Cup Series tonight. It did not disappoint one bit, I do not think, from expectations going into this Kansas race. Almost I don't want to say a typical Kansas race, but like you alluded to, you saw every line being used by just about every driver here tonight. And it fantastic race. Cannot wait to see what Bristol in stores.
And when I mean every line being used, folks, I mean every line. Pit road was used, the track was used, the apron was used. We even had a car that even used the grass. So every line was literally used out here tonight. So, but I mean, hey, whoever it was that was in the grass, good save. We did not catch who that was. But whoever it was, you know who you are. Awesome save out there. That could have been bad. I mean, it could have took out, either several drivers or the driver himself, or, even drivers coming down pit road. So, whoever it was out there, awesome job, awesome save. And, we're going to go ahead and get down here to the unofficial results, but any admin stuff they have to do out here tonight. But the Budweiser 8 of Michael D. Walt will come away with the victory. The dominating performance by the number 8. And like I said, once he got out front, he didn't look back. Greg Wood there, was coming up on him, just not enough laps to really get up there to put any more pressure on him. But hey, can't take nothing away from Greg Wood. The top two, not in the chase. However, hey, 1-2 punch right here, buddy. I mean, awesome job by these guys and everybody else out here. Mark Whitley third, Brandon Hartwell fourth, Zach Neuscher rounding out the top 5. Chris Paff in that 6th spot. Kyle Heath in 7th, Brandon Sheets 8th, Jim Coleman-Spurger 9th, and Kevin Roy rounding out our top 10. Austin Slayers in 11th, David Cassidy 12th, Jeff Gilmore 13th, Christopher Campbell 14th, Jason Adams 15th, Larry Blair 16th, Mark Gomez-Koshik 17th, Philip Bridgman in 18th, Keith Hurlbut 19th, and Terry DeGay in that 20th position. Mark Emery, another tough night for Mark Emery, man. When, I'm going to go ahead and say it, his time's coming. His time, Mark Emery's time, is coming. He's had a couple of bad races here to start the chase. But I think once he gets going, you're going to have to watch at number 4.
Mark he seems like a good, consistent driver. Just has some bad luck, Joshua. I just have to agree with you. Just once he can get that bad luck to the side, just push it away into a closet somewhere, make it lock and key, he will have some good runs coming in the future. I just see it with you.
Yeah, and I think it's a very near future. So Mark Emery actually out in chat, and that was Mark actually in the grass. He even said it out in chat. So that was him actually that went through the grass out here tonight. So, Mark, I will say it again, man. Your time's coming, man, and I think it's coming here pretty quickly. So, just keep your head up, man, and keep going. Just don't take, don't. What's the word I'm looking for? Don't down
Don't
yourself.
get discouraged.
Yeah, don't get discouraged. There we go. Thank you, Will. You knew what word I was looking for. Don't get discouraged, man. Just keep going. So, watch for that number 4 here later on in the season here, folks. In the chase, he's gonna come, and it's yeah. Just watch. Robbie Stewart there in 22nd. Gary Slapinski, tough night for him. It didn't have no sound, and he blew his engine. Tough break for Gary. Paul Buzz Cohen did not start here tonight, but our winner here this evening, Michael Dewalt, grabbing the win out here tonight. Well, again, a big shout out to, of course, our series sponsor here, Brantley Roden Harpoon Design. A big shout out to you there, buddy. Robbie Darnell and all the admins for doing what they do over here at SRU, keeping it going. And, of course, you will. As always, every Sunday night, man, if you're not busy doing something, you're here in the booth, man. We love you.
Well, like I said, Joshua, earlier, I just love being here. It's a great race and series to call with you. I'm just thankful for you having me.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. Of course, we'll see you next week at Bristol, and we will see you all next week at Bristol as well. Same time, same place, right here on MaxspeedTV. Myself, Joshua Medlock, Will Roberts, 7:45 Eastern, 6:45 Central, Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, 250 laps. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight. Until next week, folks, stay safe. Thank you all again, and have a good night.